I don't know if this is going to be picking me up through my earpiece here or if it's just picking up the regular phone or what. Let me cut this off. I need somebody to tune in so they could tell me what the audio is like. Because I don't have my regular microphone thing today plugged up in the phone. What's up, Oscar? What's going on, Moses? So, fellas, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Because I don't have my regular mic going on. Embracing the truth. What's going on? Buenos dias. Audio solid. All right, cool. Brother Deshaun, good to see you. I was just watching your live from the other day. And Leo, thank you for that. Yeah, Deshaun, I was just watching one where you were going through the video with the Coptic priest. That's crazy. I didn't know that about the Assyrians either. That was crazy. This Coptic priest said that the Assyrian Church of the East was persecuted by the Byzantines at one point to where they were down to 3 bishops who had to dress up in rags and pretend to be homeless just so they could sneak from city to city and ordain priests. That was wild. Embracing truth. All right, one loud and clear. All right, good. Now, I only got a couple minutes. I got an appointment coming in a little bit, but I just wanted to say this, like, just how on time God is with some stuff. So my coworker comes in this morning. I asked him how his weekend was, and he was like, it was all right. He said, honestly, I've been in a funk for a while now. I'm just trying to, just get through and whatever. And he says, do you ever feel like that? And I'm like, what, like ever get in a funk? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I do, but with me, it really doesn't last. Now, don't take me as an example of anything. I'm different from most regular people, right? Emotional stuff, I don't get too caught up in. So I'm a bad example for any type of question like that. But I'm like, yeah, I do, but it doesn't last long. And he's like, well, what do you do? I say, I pray. I'll read the scriptures or listen to the scriptures being read aloud. And, so I'll throw on worship music and whatever, because Isaiah said, put on the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. But depression, just as a general, like, predilection, is not something I've had to deal with a lot in life. Like, have I been depressed? Yeah. But is it a way of being for me? Absolutely not. And, it's the Syrians, Sean. Got it. All right. I thought it was Assyrians. All right. Correction there. So the Byzantines persecuted the Syrians, not the Assyrians. Repair of the breach. God bless you. So, yeah, depression is just not something that I really struggle with like that. I have days when I'm down, days when I'm up. But so I give him my little bit of advice, and then I flip on my phone, and there is Archbishop Wayne Titus, and he is doing a live stream on depression. So I'm like, wow, check that out. So I throw it on the TV. And listen, if you guys aren't subscribed to Archbishop Wayne Titus, he rebranded his channel. I think it's called Facing East Ministries now. Go give him a subscription. He's live, I think, Monday through Friday around 9 a.m. Putting out quality stuff, man. Really good brother. He's got a lot of good stuff to say. And, yeah, highly recommend his stuff. So, XJW Laura, God bless you. Thank you so much. Yeah, hit like and subscribe. I got 17 watching and 3 likes, so it doesn't cost you nothing to hit that like button, and it helps me out tremendously. But so Bishop Wayne, he's on there, and he's talking about depression, and he's going through the Bible and people like Elijah who wanted to take their lives, and he's saying how, you think all depression comes from the devil, but it could just be that it's actually your proximity to God and your awareness of where you're not with God that you should be. And this is me paraphrasing him, but I'd recommend everybody go watch his live stream from today. So anyway, I had it on, and my coworker's there listening intently, and it was really ministering to him. So I just wanted to come on real quick and say God was right on time with that. I appreciate Bishop Wayne and what he does. I appreciate that was the word for this morning, because it was able to help somebody who I know personally. and I want to encourage him to keep doing what he's doing. I like to encourage all of you, yeah, all of you to check it out. All right, brother Moses, good to know. I'll be praying for you. Yeah, Sean, check them out. So yeah, it's Facing East Ministries now. Facing East Ministries. Got a new logo, new thing going on. Looks pretty good. I saw the last time I watched him was maybe 2 weeks ago. I think I was checking it out. I was getting my hair cut. Don't open your door in my car, dude. All right, I'm in my car, man. This guy just pulled up quick and swung his door open. But yeah, the last time I was watching him, the camera looked like extra crispy. So I don't know if he got a new camera or whatever, or it was his lighting. Father Rippergen. Yeah, I think it's Rippinger. So his name is Archbishop Wayne Titus. The name of his YouTube channel now is Facing East Ministries, I believe. Facing East Ministries. So, yeah, Laura, it's Father Ripperger. Pray, God bless you. Yeah, Jonah was on, Marlon went live this morning talking about, I guess, Ray Comfort and Ryan from needgod.net are beefing. And Marlon was live. I saw Jonah in the comments. He popped up later. And then Mauler from the Truth Cartel was in there. Mauler retired. I saw his last live stream, and he said he's done with it because nobody wants to engage him on the whole OSAS stuff. So if you guys know any OSASers out there that are willing to engage in some type of debate or dialogue, send him his way. Send him his way so he can keep demolishing the position. Funny story. I don't have my little graphic with me, my story time with Uncle Nick, but back in the day when I was a fresh believer, you know, fresh out of sin, one of the things that I encountered early on was eternal security. Once saved, always saved. And it was just so obviously false to me that I created an AOL homepage. So it was like a website that America Online hosted. They gave you a little bit of server space. You could upload stuff, whatever. And I used to use Microsoft Front Page to do the, you know, I'd put stuff in there, generate an HTML code, copy, paste it, so on and so forth. I stole somebody's code from a website I liked. So I had like it looked like their background, but just populated with my content. So the vast majority of what I was doing at that time was refuting eternal security. Like that, the vast majority of my articles were all on refuting OSAS. So for me, that's like a well-worn, old, tired, not even worth engaging type of doctrine. But no, Sean, yeah, I think he was serious. He's like, he doesn't want to focus his attention on that channel if people aren't going to engage him on that topic. So I think he said he's going to be doing Rumble and more of the political stuff and just stick with the Discord. Oscar, who banned you? Yeah, what did you do to get banned, Oscar? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. I'll wait till you post it. So YouTube banned your other account, but what did you do to get banned? That's the question. Inappropriate content, comments? Excuse me. I don't know. We need to know these things. But yeah, so anyway, so back in the day, that was one of my focuses. I was into that before I was really even into the Trinity, believe it or not. So I heard them all. I heard all the arguments. The most recent one, and this one is new, and they're basing this on, you know, advances in linguistics, is that the present active participle, it really has nothing to do with continual or ongoing belief or anything like that, that it's this gnomic present. And you can go over to Layman Seminary and see him hash that out. I've talked to, oh, you had a painter as the profile. I've talked to grammarians who are not ignorant of the conversations going on amongst linguists who disagree with that position. So, you know, that is by no means a settled thing right now. But what's the gentleman's name? The Australian, he's Australian or New Zealand, I forget. Bald dude, beard, glasses, and he's got the oh, what is the name of his channel? I forget the name of his channel, but he's like a linguist and he teaches New Testament Greek. And if you just go over to Layman Seminary's page and you go to his community post, you'll see he posted a recent video where this guy is saying that, you know, the Greek they taught you in seminary is probably outdated, right? So you need to brush up, and linguists have been making all these advances. With regard to that, there's a couple of linguists I know that I want to get in touch with just to see their opinion on that stuff and see what they have to say. But in any event, like I said, all the once saved, always saved arguments, you know, tried and not true. I've been through all that many years ago to where it's not even fun engaging in. And then, that's no good. I just ripped something off my pants. So, but yeah, I was just coming on briefly to really, you know, give God the glory and sending that message when he sent it, because to watch him work in real time, it's an awesome thing. And he's going to work through whoever he wants to work through, whenever he wants to work. And I'll say this, and here's one thing I really appreciated about Bishop Wayne's conversation, is that, you know, he's saying so often when people feel a certain way, when they're dealing with mental health issues, you know, the medical profession, what is their job? Their job is nowadays more to medicate than it is to really heal, right? I'll say that again. It's more to medicate than it is to really heal. So they'd rather mask the symptoms than fix the actual problem. And we know this because they're so intertwined with the pharmaceutical industry. And if the pharmaceuticals actually healed the problem, right? If they actually took care of it, then they'd be out of business. So the money's not in the cure. The money's in just maintaining the symptoms, right? And Bishop Wayne was saying how, you know, the first thing that a lot of people want to run to is to the medication. It's to the drugs. It's, you know, let's dope me up so I don't feel what I'm feeling. But the reality is, it's a spiritual condition. It's a spiritual condition. So you need to run to God first. Now, he wasn't saying don't ever take medicine. He wasn't saying don't ever seek help from a professional. He wasn't saying any of that. He was saying, but God should always be our first, what's the word I'm looking for? The first place we run. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it right now. But God should always be the first thing. So when you find yourself going through, pray, keep praying. You know, pray like the psalmist prayed. And he went to the Psalms, and he was showing how, you know, modern day readers of these Psalms, especially, he came out of Pentecostalism, I'm coming out of Pentecostalism. A lot of times, with the way that Pentecostalism has been infected by this health and wealth prosperity stuff, you would read a lot of these Psalms and you would say, well, you know, obviously that psalmist didn't have enough faith in God. You know, that psalmist was weak and was just succumbing to the enemy and all of that. When the reality is like, no, this is when God's strength is made perfect, is in our weakness. That's why God has to be the first place we run to. Because if we don't run to God first, if we try to do everything on our own, we're saying that we're somehow stronger and we don't need God to step in and God to intervene on our behalf. Now, having said that, I will say this. When you hear the language of the miracle of modern medicine, I agree with that 100%. Because at the end of the day, the things that medicine can do that are good and beneficial for us, God gets the glory for that. God gets the credit, God gets the praise, because God has put it in humans to be able to do the research, to come up with the ideas, to be able to test this stuff out and see that it works. I'm not saying no medicine is good. I'm not saying any of that. When I have a headache, I take a Tylenol. You know, I'll pray, but I'll take a Tylenol. When my blood pressure is up, I'll take a baby aspirin because it thins your blood. So it's not like I'm completely opposed to medicine. Like really hard stuff I try to stay away from. I've had 2 antibiotics in like the last 30 years. So I try to stay away from medicine personally. Be that as it may, I'm not saying I don't believe that medicine is good, but I'm saying that for medicine at its best, it's still God that gets the glory, right? It's still from God. God is no less in that than he is if he were to do it so-called miraculously and some type of creative miracle that we think of when we think of miracles, right? But the miracle is in God showing himself. So what happened with my coworker this morning, that's a miracle because this word came right when he needed it and it helped to raise him up out of this funk that he was in. That's a miracle. He didn't have to grow back a limb or rise from the dead or walk on water for it to be a miracle, right? And I think we shortchange God a lot of the times. You said Jerry Seinfeld said it best. Oh, okay, I'll give you the real medicine. Everyone else I'm going to give Tic Tacs. Yeah, exactly. Deacon Alex, God bless you. Absolutely, 100%. It's always spiritual. And, you know, we have to treat the soul. We have to treat the soul. But in treating the soul, right, there comes a time when you say, okay, maybe there is something off in somebody's brain chemistry and that some of these advances in medicine could get the balances right. Maybe, but that doesn't mean just because you get the balance right of the brain chemistry that you leave the soul and the spiritual stuff alone. No, we always run to God in prayer. We always direct people toward the path of repentance. We always counsel them to put God first. And I am a firm believer that you put God first, everything else will fall into place. Now, that doesn't mean you be a passive passenger in the whole thing and just expect God to do it all for you. But it means when you put first things first, then it's very easy to stack things in their proper order. All right. But anyway, I don't want to add on to what the bishop was saying. Again, I really would direct everybody toward that. It was a great session this morning. I'm going to watch it again and listen very intently. He was quoting a few saints whom I haven't heard before, so that was good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else new and exciting going on before I get back to work. I don't think so. I think all is relatively quiet on the controversy front these days, at least from what I've seen. Dr. Joshua Sijuwati went on Inspiring Philosophy. I started watching that this morning, and he was saying that he's happy to affirm that Jesus is Yahweh, and he's going to get into that. I haven't gotten to the part where he gets into it. But again, he said that from the first statement that everyone bugged out about. And to the casual observer, also JP texted me yesterday and sent me a link. He's going to be having William Albrecht and Joshua Sijuwati on his channel like next week or 2 weeks or something. So stay tuned for that. But yes, Facing East Ministries is the name of the channel now. Lost in Grace, God bless you. Yes, blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. Marcos, God bless you. Peace of Christ be with you. So, yeah, what I saw Dr. Sijuwati saying was basically, you know, what he's been saying the whole time. So again, for people who aren't into this area of Trinitarian theology and how analytic philosophy has been informing people's apologetic for the Trinity, it sounds one way, but he didn't say anything different from what I've seen so far on the Inspiring Philosophy thing than he said when he was debating the Mormon guy and what he said in many live streams and debates before this. It all hinges on the is of identity, the is of predication. So he does not have a problem saying that Jesus is God or Jesus is Yahweh by predication. But he's saying as to an absolute fundamental identification, right, the is of identity, this is the Father alone. The Father alone just is God. The Father alone just is Yahweh. And Jesus can be these things because he shares in the same substance as the Father, right? So nothing has changed there. But again, I got like 2.5 hours left of this thing to watch. So maybe he says something that'll give me a different understanding from what he's saying. But yeah, he didn't. I understood him when he was talking to the Mormon. I just disagree with it. I understand what he's saying with the inspiring philosophy guys. You know, I disagree with it. One God, 3 persons, 4 views. Jonah, to be honest, I think I did a while ago. Is that the Zondervan one? If that's the Zondervan one, yeah, I read that back when it first came out, but nothing's sticking out. I don't really remember. I don't remember too much of it, to be honest with you. But why, did you find it helpful? If it's not the Zondervan one, I didn't read it. I read the Zondervan one, but they got B&H also does one of like those counterpoint series. So I don't know if it was in that. But refresh my memory. Who are the 4 views in that one? Al Chaldean, God bless you. Who takes up the 4 views? Oh, no. Then I have not read that one yet. No. So yeah, there was a Zondervan one, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so, 10, 12 years ago. That one I read. No, I have not read that one. I'm looking forward to that one. So William Lane Craig, he has kind of oversimplified his view over the years. So he would say something that's much reduced compared to what he said back when he wrote Philosophical Foundations for a Christian Worldview. And I just saw my client going, so I got to go in a second. But so Craig's view I've never been a fan of. Then Hasker, if you're going to be a social Trinitarian, I think Hasker has the most palatable version of social Trinitarianism from an analytic perspective that I've read thus far. He's got a book called The Metaphysics of the Tripersonal God or something like that. And Dale Tuggy, obviously Unitarian, not a Trinitarian at all. And then Branson, I have my issues with Branson because I feel like Branson's just trying to appease Tuggy while remaining Trinitarian. And, you know, I think there's some problems there. But yeah, now that I know it's out, I'll definitely order it. All right, but listen, I got to get going. Cosmic Septic, God bless you. Nice. All right, I'll check out RT Mullins' podcast. I'll check that out. But I got to get going. My client just walked in there. Listen, appreciate you all. Just wanted to say, head over Embracing, or what is it? Facing East Ministries, or Embracing East. Nah, I forget. Just look up Archbishop Wayne Titus on YouTube, and I'll post a link to it in my community page later. But go over there, give him a subscription, start following his stuff, interact with his content. You know, I would love for his audience to grow for the glory of God. And I think he's doing good stuff. Yeah, please, like Byzantine said, don't forget to hit that like button. Helps me out, helps the channel out. And yeah, I'll catch you later. I might go live tonight when I get home. I don't know yet, but God bless. I'll catch you later. Bye.